you running? Why are you?
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Mr. Game You Watch. Before I get started today, I just want to let everybody know, as long as you watch the video all the way to the end, or if you just feel like scrolling all the way to the end, I'm going to be posting up credits with some names of either YouTube or Twitch channels that you guys should totally check out because it's some good people, good friends of mine, stuff like that. Now, what I'm going to be reviewing today is, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Now, if you've ever played a Pokemon game, I mean, let's be honest, Pokemon games are great. So, I mean, this isn't going to be probably one of my shorter reviews only because I really don't have a lot bad to say about this game. The game is set in the Kanto region, which was the first set of games. Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, Yellow. A lot of people complain about the Kanto region games, but honestly, I could play them over and over and over again. I mean, it's where everything started. The original 151 Pokemon. I mean, what's not to love about it? With Let's Go games, both Pikachu and Eevee, I mean, the biggest differences between the two is obviously who your starter Pokemon is. One is going to be Pikachu, the other one's going to be Eevee. Now, these games are a little bit different than your actual generational games, the ones that actually follow the, I guess, storyline, or Pokemon are always, new ones being released. It's related more so to the Pokemon Go game for your mobile app, only because in here, in order to catch Pokemon, you have your Joy-Con controller for your Switch. Now, you don't use both of them, because obviously you got one and two. It's a little weird at first when you first get started, because it's kind of like holding a remote control for your TV. But after you kind of get used to it, it's actually pretty easy. And much like the Pokemon Go game, there is no battling the Pokemon in order to weaken them, to make them easier to catch, much like the regular set of games. Now it's just like you flick the controller, the ball goes, tries to catch a Pokemon, kind of like you flick your finger on your phone in Pokemon Go. I'm not a big fan of the catching system. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of it on Pokemon Go, although I do still play it. So I'm not really much of a fan of it here either. That's really the only downside I personally see. I like the games where you actually can make it easier to catch them. This game, much like Pokemon Go, is kind of like, you better hope that your throw lands, and not only that it lands right, but that they end up staying in the ball. It's kind of more, it's less like, let me try and get them down to that little bit left of health to make it easy, and more like, oh, I might get them, I might not get them. The only other thing that I'm not a big fan of is, much like Pokemon Go, is the fact that you have to catch the same Pokemon over and over and over and over again in order to get the shiny versions. I mean, I like shiny versions, they're cool, but there's not a whole lot of change to them. I mean, it's just a color change. I personally prefer the Alolan versions of Pokemon, which there are some actually in this game that you can get, like Vulpix. Who else? I'm trying to think. Brain's not working. But you get the point. So, I would rather get the Alolan versions as opposed to the shinies. And, I mean, if you want the shinies, it's going to be a grind. I mean, you're going to be farming the same Pokemon over and over and over again quite a bit, in the hopes that maybe you might get that one shiny. You might end up spending several minutes, if not hours, in the same area trying to get one. Aside from that, I love the game. The game was super fun. I love the graphics, the way they've how far they've come. If you've ever played the originals, heck, if you've ever played some of the newer ones, Sun, Moon, I mean, if you've ever played Pearl and Diamond, all those, I mean, they've made leaps and bounds. Cannot be more excited, honestly, for the Gen 8 game that's going to be coming out later this year. I really can't. And I hope they stick with a lot of things they actually used here in Pokemon Let's Go. For example, the fact that you can actually ride certain Pokemon, like Charizard, Haunter, basically like larger Pokemon that you can pretty much, saddle their back. I like the fact that you can, along with that, Pokemon can follow you. I mean, they did do it in an earlier game, got rid of it. I guess brought it back now. They should stick with it. It's kind of like a fun, and it's fun to see like Pokemon, following you around. And in here, you actually have your starter who sits on your back, and then you can have a secondary Pokemon following you. Cool concept too. They stuck with having gym battles and regular battles in this game. In order to pretty much level up your Pokemon, you have to either obviously battle or catching Pokemon. Actually, catching Pokemon earns you experience for your entire team. It's pretty nice. I mean, it's easy, makes things a little bit easier when you're catching Pokemon and gaining experience, obviously, for everybody. And you don't even have to fight them. You don't got to worry about your team being weakened, stuff like that. So it's kind of a interesting and decent concept. Honestly, I would just get the game. I was so skeptical about it. So skeptical about it when I first saw it was coming out. Mostly because of the Pokemon Go thing. And like I said, I still play Pokemon Go, but, it's here and there. It's just to kind of, I guess, keep myself busy and entertained. But I finally ended up getting Let's Go. And honestly, I loved it. Honestly, it was the best, $60 I had spent. And it's great to play through, obviously, the whole game. They've changed a couple things here and there. I mean, pretty minuscule things compared to, obviously, the original first games. One other thing they added to that I think is kind of cool is you can actually play with a friend. Now, playing with a friend, they don't really have, like, their own starter, whatnot, but it's nice. Like, I actually played through and then decided to play again, and this time played with my wife, and we just had fun together. It's a great way to, like, enjoy your time together. Anybody, I would say, under the age of, like, 38, maybe 40, has probably played a Pokemon game, considering how long it's been around. And so being able to play together and enjoy the story together, catch Pokemon together, battle together, it's just kind of a fun experience. It's like your game nights, your board game nights, but instead it's your living your past now kind of night, through your Pokemon game. And honestly, it's just, I would highly recommend getting the game. If you do not have a Nintendo Switch, I highly recommend getting one of those. I haven't bought a Nintendo system since, like, GameCube. So, for me to, like, say that, that's kind of a big deal. I wasn't a big fan of Wii or Wii U. But definitely, I would get it. Get the Pokemon Go game. Get ready for Gen 8. Now, overall, I'd give the game a solid 9 out of 10. I really would. Like I said, it's fun. It's a good time. You really can't go wrong with a Pokemon game. You just can't. You just cannot go wrong. So, trust me. Get out there. Get it. This is like the one time I'm going to tell you that, like, it's definitely something I would highly recommend getting. But again, the choice is yours. Now, stick around for next week, because next week I'm going to be doing Devil May Cry 5 review. One of my other favorite series of games. I'm super stoked to do that one too. And, shoot me a subscription. Let me know if you have your own channel. I'll check out my subscriptions, check out your channels, stuff like that. Or leave me comments, obviously. And I'll catch everybody next week. Pikachu!